Good evening, friends.
I feel like that gets longer. like the where it says the EriDan, and then it's like boom. I'm like, that used to be like a second. Now I feel like it's.
When I say I have not modified that at all. I can promise you that much. Dan.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
This is a very. I don't even know if people realize what a magical special evening this is.
Wait, is it number 147?
This is movie 150.
Is it really?
150th movie.
So wait, last week was 149?
Our 121st episode, but our 150th movie to talk about together here at the EriDan Film Festival.
And this all started because I wanted to do a book club, but I didn't want to do books that were books. I wanted to do books that were turned into movies, and we'd watch the movie of the book instead of having a book club. That's what the concept started with.
I don't remember anything, but nonetheless, here we are. Here we find ourselves 121 episodes in. It's too late to switch to books now.
That's over 2 years.
We
haven't missed a week.
Huh?
We have not missed a week.
I don't think we have missed a week. I don't think.
No, not like Clutch Radio.
So was it June 8th? June 8th, 2020. So we are well
2.32 years. I just did the math. 2.32 years.
Crazy.
And you know, I have this moment where I suddenly feel like Regis and Kathy Lee, because like we have the small talk.
One of us about to be replaced
with Ryan Seacrest. Actually, they both got replaced. One died. But I'm having a pumpkin spice latte or cold brew. And it's so good.
Oh, is it? Well, that's good. I'm glad you found a refreshing.
So good. It's insane. All right. So
Kathy Lee, this is not good. This does not bode well for me.
Taylor Williamson posted a very funny thing. He said that all podcasts are basically just stealing Regis and Kathy Lee. And that really is what a podcast is.
Yeah,
it's people having conversations.
Weren't they just stealing morning radio there? Weren't they just taking? Weren't they just stealing morning radio from the beginning of it?
Oh, by the way, if you want to be a guest,
oh my goodness, it's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
EriDanLive.com. You just go there and you can be on the screen. If not, you can put your stuff in the comments, whether you're watching on Twitter or Twitch or Facebook or YouTube.
And we're doing a lot tonight. We're going to talk about a movie.
Yeah, it's a busy night.
Double feature for next week. And then we're going to talk about New Girl.
New Girl, yes. Zoe Deschanel, number 5.
There's so much happening tonight. You know, you're thinking, I know you're thinking at home, you're like, I bet you there's so much happening. Eric won't have time to share one of his annoying TikToks. But no.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
I'd like to ask for a recess.
You can't handle the truth. Did you order the code red? I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. You can't handle the truth.
All right, we probably just got kicked off.
Let's just start. We should let some people comment.
All right, bring some people in.
Let's do it.
One ring to rule the moon. One ring.
It's Brittany.
It's Brittany and the baby.
That was amazing.
A friend in me.
That was so good.
It was too good. I had no choice.
Speaking of having no choice.
Oh, well, in that case, I think I'm going to put... We've got Reagan, Regis, and Kathy Lee. And we know who's the Regis in this relationship. No. We'll have to wait and find out.
Anyway, I'm out of control. Speaking of out of control.
Dan, don't spill that coffee on my couch.
Oh, that's right.
That's very good, but you really should be careful. I'm not going to say a thing. All right, we'll stop there. And there's Brian.
Brian's here.
Yep.
I'm back in the EriDan World headquarters. I can spill my coffee here. We have a cleaning crew.
Nice.
Nice.
Speaking of nice,
Speaking of nice, wait.
keep this going.
There it is.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Joy is here.
I'm the standard fill-in for Kathy Lee when she can't make it.
Joy, can you believe this, Joy?
Before we brought it on, it was Michael Strahan, and I thought too soon.
Boy, Adam's already ripping on things.
Oh no!
You talking about this show?
I didn't laugh one
us?
time at this either. I laughed a lot of times.
Exactly. I laughed way more than once.
Wow! And responsible for our movie this week, live. Here we go.
It's a guest. Yip, 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 yip.
Jan.
Hello.
There she is. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you all?
I think you're due for an opening, Eric.
I know.
This has definitely
I know.
been 5 times.
Slacking. I'm so slacking. I'm gonna have to take a week off. Is what I'm gonna have.
We got some comments happening. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Comments talking to each other. Or as my son used to say, comments talking to their chuthers.
Others.
Yes, my son used to say their chuthers. Because he thought, well, if it each has another, it must be a chuther.
Okay.
Anyway, Eric?
I think it is time to talk movies. In particular, this movie, Waiting for Guffman from 1996, rated R. There's a good reason some talent remains undiscovered. Starring Christopher Guest, Fred Willard, Parker Posey, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, and Louis Arquette. Directed by Christopher Guest. Written by Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy. Budget of $4 million, worldwide gross only $3 million. But we'll talk about that. And the Rotten Tomato ratings coming in solid 91. My favorite line you'll notice from the cover, Waiting for Guffman, a new comedy from the lead's guitarist of Spinal Tap.
Oh my God.
So, Jen, we go to you and ask why you've chosen this movie for us to entertain ourselves this week.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite movies. Like, it's one of the ones that whenever I just want to watch something fun and chill, like, this is one that I'll put on in the background. I've seen it a bunch of times, although it's been several years at this point, so it was fun watching it again. I don't know when I first saw it, but definitely, like, this style of comedy just, like, hits for me. Like, this is definitely... It's geared toward me in a lot of ways. Like, the style of comedy in this movie is, like, my type of comedy. Like, I watched all the bonus features. I watched them all with commentary. Like,
oh wow!
Yep.
Like, there are just so many good quotes in this movie, and like even after seeing it for the first time, I remember like just having some of the songs stuck in my head and just laughing at them to myself randomly.
I will say, even though the theatrical trailer is usually not an extra that I ever watch because it's usually just cuts from the movie, is why would I watch it? This is one because Guest was editing it so late. There are 1 or 2 very brief scenes in the trailer that are not in the film.
Yeah.
So it's worth watching.
Interesting. All right, we're just gonna let Amanda slide in here because you know. Oh wait, and there goes there. You want to do it? There you go. Amanda, hello, Amanda.
Hello.
All right, cool. Now we got.
That's right. Amanda's been on 5 times. Wait, which one? Wait, no, Amanda was on 5 times.
I got tic-tac-toe on the bottom.
I'll take Reagan to block.
Yeah.
Artificial sweetener. That's my Paul Lynn impression.
Good Paul Lynn there.
Oh my goodness! Holy crap!
What?
Look at the comment we just got.
What?
Michael Menza.
Oh my
No
goodness.
way.
Gives it a
Wow,
90.5.
look at
You
that.
know you can't round. You have to be a 90 or 91.
That would be
One
a
of the best
91.
Chris Guest mockumentaries. You're only better. The only one better is A Mighty Wind.
Wow, look at that.
We round up. That's a 91.
Look at that. There is one spot, like we can handle 10 people.
You can
so
jump in.
we could actually jump
can have
in.
10
We could
spots
actually-
if you want.
I don't know what happens. We don't know what happens with the board though. We've never had 10.
No
before.
whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
So this was my first time seeing this movie. Anybody else? First timers? Stacy,
I
there
wasn't
we
able to
go.
watch it. So.
I wasn't either.
The double feature.
We already heard that Adam was not necessarily a fan. We'll wait and see if he shares.
If you'll remember, Adam last week said that I thought he was very honest in saying that you have to be of a certain taste to like Christopher Guest movies, and they're not really for him.
What did he give Spinal Tap?
Oh,
Spinal Tap's a bit different. There's certainly overlap, but Spinal Tap has a different feel to it.
Different, I will say.
It has a different feel to it.
Yeah.
Well, Spinal Tap wasn't a Christopher Guest movie necessarily.
Right, it was directed
more
by
of an
Reiner.
ensemble piece, and it was Rob Reiner.
Yeah,
And
Guest was one of the co-writers of it, but yeah.
Yeah, this is the first one of his. This Mighty Wind,
Best in
Show, and For Your Consideration,
and then also Sort of Mascots, which is the more recent one. And they also did Family Tree, which has some in common with these as well. The one season TV series.
Did anybody notice
Adam gave Spinal Tap a 72.
Oh,
that's a solid Adam.
Yeah.
Really
Rebecca said this was her first time. She really liked it. Eugene Levy had me rolling on the floor laughing. My wife laughed out loud a lot for this movie, and this was her first time too.
I definitely think it. Go ahead.
Adam says it's not his type of humor. He put it in quotes. And thank you for spelling it Humor, not Homour. Because I know people that do the OU and things like favor and color. I'm like,
yeah,
you're from New Jersey.
Kind of English stuff.
Yeah. Deadpan humor, but not his type of humor. I mean, there was more than deadpan in this. I mean, to me, there's
a lot of slapstick.
Oh, come on. Corky's dance is not deadpan.
No, neither is Eugene Levy's dancing.
That's true.
I will say the shtick, the characters were not my favorite part of this movie, but the music is excellent in this movie. I will say
the music was written by Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Because it was Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, and Christopher Guest who wrote all the songs.
Wow.
Yeah, and I also do think, and I'd be curious how many people here did either school theater or community theater at one point, because I think that adds to your appreciation of this movie.
And that's true. Watching over the years, my family be involved in musicals at Blackhawk, and watching those scenes where they're rehearsing and the set people are putting the set together, which was Wade, and it just that rang true. And it was, but these were adults putting together this strange musical that turned out better than I thought it would.
I was really glad that the musical, like, there wasn't like a big, like, I don't know, sets come crashing down. I was glad that the performance actually plays all the way through. And honestly, I was telling Dan earlier today that I'm kind of lukewarm on this movie, but I get the feeling that this is a movie that gets better the more you watch it.
Yeah.
Right. That I feel like there was parts where it's like, am I cringing here because of what might happen or what's going to happen? Or am I cringing here because this is really cringy? And I feel like once it was over, things were funnier in retrospect than maybe they were when I was actually watching them.
Okay.
That was one of the comments they made in the commentary, was that Guest realized and Levy realized when they were writing this, they had to be doing their best. And for this to work, they had to be within the very, very narrow limits of their talent, doing the best they possibly could, and taking it very seriously for it to work and for you to sympathize with them and like them.
Yeah,
Sure.
I've seen this before, so it made me calm my perception of it. But I felt like, no, we'll talk about New Girl later, but I felt like there was way more cringe humor that made me cover my eyes than there is in Waiting. Like, I was trying to reflect on how cringe like humor Waiting for Guffman was, and just things, generally do work out okay. And like, sure, Guffman doesn't show up, but they still put on a really good show. Things ultimately I don't know, people are. There's no like big gotcha moment where you're like, oh, I'm so like, it all kind of just like is fine. And also, separate note, as a pit orchestra, like a band kid and was in the pit orchestra all through high school, I appreciated the pit orchestra being like the best part of that.
Like, they were really good.
Fabulous.
Like,
I love that. To me, that was such a great nod to all those that was awesome.
And the one guy
The trumpeter who's playing the timpani with one hand and the trumpet with the other.
That was amazing.
I did enjoy
he played
that.
the trumpet and the timpani. He played the trumpet and the keyboard at one point at the same time. It was always trumpet and
They only
the
have so
music,
many people, but the people they have are really good.
Oh yeah,
They were fabulous.
Yeah.
They were really good. That's the one thing I was noticing is the music was really good, and then watching the auditions, and you've got Corky going and Larry going.
Oh, Lloyd and Corky's reactions during the auditions when Corky just loved Ron and Sheila, and
Oh my
and
God.
Lloyd is sitting there just with this utterly blank look on his face, like, why are they here?
Exactly. And then nobody wanted to work for him.
And I love the fact that he's a travel agent. He's never left Blaine, except for that one time for the procedure. We don't want to talk about that.
Tell them what it is. Tell them what it is.
Well, actually, that was one of the more humorous things that came out in the commentary. Was earlier when they were pitching this and they were deciding what to put in and what to put out, they had actually talked about having a home movie of when he ran track in school, where he's doing hurdles and knocking over all of the hurdles.
Because he had to get reduction surgery.
Wow.
Oh my word.
Oh my stars.
What it could have been.
Now, did anybody notice Bob Odenkirk, aka Better Call Saul?
And you can find the cut audition online.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
he's in it, and David Cross has a part with the big the crop circle.
Oh yeah, the UFO guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of
The-
wild to see them. And
That
the
whole
fact that
storyline.
The diameter and the circumference change by a few inches, but the radius stays the same.
He's the same.
Which brings me back to the number 5.
There are 5 letters in Blaine.
And there aren't. There are 6 actually.
Mix the letters around.
BLAINE.
I know.
I really wish the "Nothing Happens on Mars" song was a little longer. I was a little disappointed when that cut off.
Well, it worked better. Like in the original, they actually had a "Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine" song that was earlier on
Right.
in the musical, and then it was a callback to it. Which
Well, it was even more than that. It was because if you
I
watch,
forgot it was. I forgot that song wasn't actually in the musical. So
It
when
belongs
we
in the
were
movie.
watching it, I was kept expecting to get to "Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine," and then it's just not part of the movie. I just remembered it so strongly that I was like, "Oh yeah, that's in there."
yeah, the way that was sequenced, actually, they did "Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine," and they all end with their head on each other's shoulders, and then they go to the narrator, and then they switch back, and their heads on each other's shoulders as they see the green light and the UFO coming down. So it immediately preceded it.
Interesting.
I loved the narrator, Arquette. He's
Oh, yeah.
fabulous.
He was really good narrator. Like he was probably one of the best actors in the show.
Yeah,
He was. And I remember him from the Waltons, and then to find out that he's all the Arquette's dad. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're an acting family. Huh.
And he's dead.
Yeah, and he is gone, yes. But I remembered him. But listening to him, I'm like, oh, I could listen to him all day. He is good. And it just made the musical okay.
And the set, I mean, the one deleted scene with and I understood why they cut it because it was too long. With "This Bulging River" was the song that they cut. It was about apparently another big historical moment in Blaine where there was this massive flood that really devastated the town. The set design in that was just incredible. They had this background lightning, this fake rain that looked so cool. They had waves moving with people doing these jumping fish behind the moving. It was just really great set design in it.
Too funny.
It did make me want to go to Dairy Queen afterwards, though. Anybody else
Right?
have that?
Yeah,
time?
Go there.
You should
I
go
got
there.
paid by Dairy Queen for that.
That's another scene.
Parker Posey we haven't seen since Mixed Nuts, which I know you all really enjoyed thoroughly.
Yeah, talk about your callbacks. Yeah. That was one of the 2 deleted scenes I really think they needed to leave in were the "Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine." And then there's a scene with Corky driving around town to tell the people that they've gotten the part. And he drives up to the Dairy Queen drive-through, and he's giving. It's like, I'd like a large Pepsi, no ice, and 1 ingenue to go, please. And
Oh my
she's so excited she got the part. But the best part is her coworkers are just as excited as she is, and they're all hugging her and are just so happy for her. It's just a really happy, fun moment.
And then at the end, she has to clarify: did you actually want the Coke? No, that was a joke.
I also love how she's like, well, I had to go back to work at Dairy Queen.
They'll always
There's always
take
a
me
place
as
Like
for
she
you.
quit her job to be in a community theater project.
Yes.
I get
It's not
that.
that they all quit their jobs.
Rebecca mentions that did anyone notice the narrator's hat?
I did not know.
No,
If I remember correctly, it said
Oh yes, old fart.
Oh, that was
yes, I did mention that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's adorable. I remember noticing that. I don't think I noticed it before.
There's just so much. You could sit for an hour easily and just talk about little subtle things that were in it. And this is where I think you're right, Eric, that there are things you catch on repeated viewings you didn't catch the first time.
Definitely, yeah.
Just some of the throwaway lines like, I know how the Kennedys must feel.
I know. I was just like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
The one line I wrote down was it's a domino effect. You know how dominoes do that. For some reason, that's just the kind of humor.
How many
I wrote
babies?
down.
It's like the old thing, like how many babies fit in the tire?
Yeah. The one I wrote down is if there's a lull, say a line, any line, even if it's from another show.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, Fred.
And I would get a Remains of the Day lunchbox.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god, the Remains of the Day lunchbox was great.
I just
And
loved
the
all
Andrew
the
McCarthy
choreography.
big heads.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh my gosh, with his braces.
Andrew McCarthy, yeah. The wire was great.
Headgear.
Yes. And of course the My Dinner with Andre action figures. And that was actually a fun thing he mentioned. He actually contacted Wallace Shawn and Andre, I can't remember his last name, to get their permission before he referenced them in this. And they said, yeah, sure. He then sent them the action figures.
Oh.
Andre the Giant.
No, not quite.
The giant, yeah.
Andre Previn, no.
It's a different dinner.
Well, since we're tight on our whole day now, I mean, because we've got so many things happening today,
Wait,
maybe it's
wait,
time
wait.
we rate this movie.
Oh, I think you're right.
Try
So
to.
exciting.
You have to
There we
start
go.
with the picker.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies just ever. Like all of the random one-liners that you don't pick up on half the time, and the little like I love Corky's dances, like his just ridiculous choreography and his backwards jeans. And
His haircut.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all beautiful.
Okay.
So like this movie is just it's too good a fit to my style of humor. Like I think I'm giving it like a 99.
Nice.
99.
Nice. Start
All right.
strong.
Blaine.
All right. I do love this movie. I consider this, if you don't count Spinal Tap, which is, again, it wasn't directed by Guest, but it sort of put him on the path to this style of filmmaking. This and Best in Show are my two favorites of them. A Mighty Wind is just slightly behind me. I don't quite agree with Mike there, even though I love A Mighty Wind. It's just a hair behind for me. But those three are the tops. And it just works. It's the kind of humor I love. It's, which is interesting because I find it funny that in some ways it's a little interesting because I know Adam loves What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, which really I think follows a very similar flow to this movie, and yet that one works for him and this one doesn't. I don't know if it's the theme, I don't know if it's the actors, what it is, but yeah, I love it. I mean, even so many lines like, we consider ourselves bi-coastal if you count the Mississippi as one of the coasts. I mean, just so many awesome throwaway lines, and the performances are wonderful. I mean, almost everyone in it is a great improvisational actor who, Parker Posey wasn't. She was one of the few, and she just, Guest said he talked to her for 10 minutes and knew she had to be in the movie. She just had the right attitude. He says that's how he casts. He doesn't do generally real auditions. He just talks to people for a while and decides if they're the right fit or not. And there was also, this is the movie that convinced Jane Lynch that she wanted to be in his follow-on movies because she loved this so much. And there are a few others that joined after this. Jane Lynch and Jennifer Coolidge wasn't in this, and she was in his later movies. So this did sort of set the template.
Harry Shearer wasn't in it either.
Yes, Terry Shearer was, and Michael McKean was not in this, even though they contributed the music. They were not actors in this, and it really did set the template. And I don't want to talk too much longer, but I did want to say that it was very interesting too watching the deleted scenes, because the movie is much darker if they included some of those deleted scenes. Ron and Sheila's relationship is much more dysfunctional than is led on in the scenes in the movie, other than sort of the restaurant scene when she's drinking too much, because she's clearly in deep depression. She's a heavy drinker. She is. It's really kind of sad, which is, I get why they cut some of the scenes, because it did make it a much darker feeling movie. But it's a 95 for me.
And just to add, also going with the dark marriages, it was also the one with the dentist. I forget his name, but his marriage also is a lot darker if you look at the deleted scenes.
In the deleted scene, he goes to Miami without her.
Yeah, you see him doing like comedy for the retirement home, and he just casually mentions that he left his wife, and like, and so they talk about that in the commentary on the deleted scenes. They're like, it was tempting to make this really dark in a lot of places. I think they say they had like 58 hours of footage that they had to cut down. So like, a lot of that's dark, apparently.
Wow.
They had to lighten it. Amazing. Amanda, what say you?
Hey, so not surprisingly, I like the movie a lot. I'm not sure this was mentioned before I joined, but this is a movie that I don't know when we first saw this. It was probably might have been high school or undergrad or something. But as with Jen, it kind of defined a lot of my humor growing up, or this style of movie. And I spent all of that. I spent the time since wanting to quote to people, "You're bastard people," as a like a quote from a movie, and I'm like, no one's gonna get this. And I usually catch myself before I make the reference, but it's a reference I have consistently wanted to make for like the past 20 years of my life. So this is a movie.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's a good line. But yeah, I'm not gonna say too much more. It's just an easy movie to watch, which is what I like. I'm kind of glad they didn't take it much darker, because it makes it just the stakes are low. It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of funny, but it's light. And I just like it a lot. It's a 97.
97.
Nice.
Dybbuk, Schmibbick, and Teacher's Pet, please.
Yeah. Well, he did not watch it, so I watched it today at work. It's my life. Yeah. And yeah, it's just not my type of humor either. Hearing you guys say these lines over again, they are funny, but it was too cringy for me, and I knew what was coming. I don't remember if I had seen it before or something, but I just know this storyline. It's not really him. He's sitting in the reserved seat, but it's not really him, and you just know
Mr.
it.
Bentley from the Jeffersons.
Exactly, and yeah, my score is a lot lower. This is one of those ones that I was just like, I can't even, and I'm sorry to say it's a 68.
68.
Yeah.
Ain't that great? All right.
Jen, we have the same glasses.
Reagan, did you see it or not? I forget if you mentioned.
No, I watched Dolphin Tale 3 times, but I didn't watch this one.
What would you rate Dolphin Tale? No, I'm gonna go.
Oh, I thought you watched Dolphin Tale 3. All right.
I put in the comments I didn't get a chance to watch. We had.
Oh, that was you. Okay, because there's just a period.
Yeah, it doesn't come up with it didn't come up with your name.
Oh, weird. Yeah, no, I plan to try to watch it this week, and then I can get you a score late. But I did not.
All right. Rebecca says if you like mockumentaries, you'll like this movie. 86.
I say all these people who haven't watched are really helping the score rise.
My mom has not seen it yet. She got too damn busy. My mom's got a very busy week. It's her birthday week. So happy mom.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
These balloons are totally for you.
Totally.
And so we have men's at a 91. You got that one, right?
Yeah. I got to find Michael's column. It's been so long.
I know. Adam hasn't scored yet. I guess I'm up. Brian, you didn't watch it either, right? Oh, wait.
I did not.
All right.
Well,
we just had to bring your picture up. All right.
It's all very helpful for this.
Wow, that's one of the poor. That's probably one of the poorest people attending, but didn't actually watch the movie numbers we've ever seen.
It's a popular
show. So many people on. And
The
everybody
question
wants
now-
to help choose the double feature.
Right. Everyone wants to talk about New Girl. I like a good mockumentary. I think Best in Show is one of my favorites. A Mighty Wind is good. Obviously, Spinal Tap is fantastic. You know, I don't know that I can put this above Spinal Tap, and I don't remember what I gave Spinal Tap. But
You didn't know what you gave Spinal Tap? I
mean, I really should. I should just score it irrelevant. It should be irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to say this is a 92, but tell me what Spinal Tap was. I'm just curious.
It was a 94.
Okay, that's about right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 92, and I do have a funny story to. Oh boy, here comes Brian. I mean, here comes Adam.
That's a lot of not likes, but
Hey,
35.
At least it's double digits, Adam.
That's true.
Yeah. That is by Adam's standards not a terribly low score.
Not bad. That's really not bad.
Yeah. Okay. That's a story for another time. Eric,
Story for another
Pixel
time?
Man.
Am I pixelated?
You are
bit.
pixeled.
I said I liked it. I was lukewarm. My wife liked it so much more than I did.
Really?
I do get the sense that if I were to watch it again, I think it would I would warm up to this movie. So, optimistically, first time I gave it a 78. And maybe next time it'll be higher. We'll see. But
That's
yeah,
not how this works, but okay.
I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. Where I was like, yeah, there are parts I really liked, and there's parts where there's a lot of great comedians in this movie who are kind of like, but they're improv comedians. They're not as much actors. You don't lose Fred Willard. You don't lose Eugene Levy into a role, right? You get Eugene Levy, and either you're in the mood for Eugene Levy or you're not. And I guess I just wasn't. But there was enough about this movie that raised it up, that even the parts that did kind of get a little stale or old for me, I still really enjoyed.
Well, it's ironic you say that, because Martin Short, when he heard the premise of this, was lobbying Guest to be in it. And the reason Guest didn't put him in it is he said he was too recognizable a face and he didn't want him in the movie.
Oh, that's so funny.
Ooh.
I mean, what about Russell Dalrymple, Eric, being in it, the president of NBC from Seinfeld?
Boy, yeah. I mean, well, I liked him.
He was good. Larry Miller, the mayor.
Larry Miller was great.
Larry Miller's always great. Yeah.
Brian Doyle Murray.
Oh, Bubble Boy.
Oh,
I mean, a lot of Seinfeld references on this show. I mean, Seinfeld participants were in this movie.
All of his other Brian Doyle Murray had other scenes that were left on the cutting floor, but the only one that survived was the one in the garage, where he only has the one line, right? Did you put the fan belt? Did you change the fan belt in the blue Chevy?
Yeah.
Well, so with our current scores so far, at least, unless we do get ratings later in, it ends up at an 82.33, just edging out UHF.
Wow. This movie's much higher than that, but okay.
Oh, I really want to see Weird. The Weird Al
I'm
story.
so excited about Weird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's.
You have to get Roku for that, though.
That looks so good, but it's on the Roku channel.
Yep. You can come here and watch it.
Oh, there you go. I'm there.
Well, that's weird.
I'm on my way. All right. Well, now we get to the complicated bit where I hopefully have captured everybody's name in order to go to our double feature wheel. Are we ready? I think we're ready. All right, here's the deal. Here's the wheel. Here's the deal. You got to be here next week. Next week will be Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. in the West. So if you're not able to be here next week, or you have no interest in picking two movies for next week, please speak now. You'll notice some people's names are not on the list because you have already chosen a double feature during this cycle. So Adam, Stacy, Dave, and
I'll pass
Richard.
on this one.
have all gotten to choose a double feature in this cycle. So, is there anybody missing or wants to be removed?
Did my mom pick a double feature?
No, she did not.
You can remove me from the list this time. Thanks.
What was that? Who was that?
You can remove me from the list this time since I just chose this week's.
All right, but this is a double feature. This is different.
I know.
She's gonna pick a Mighty Wind and Best in Show.
Oh, there we go. No.
Certainly could.
I'd enjoy it.
Or if somebody wanted to pick 2 Halloween themes movies,
Ninja
you don't
Fingers will
matter.
not be available.
You've had a double feature. Richard, you've already had a double feature, so you don't get a.
Well, he's not available anyway.
Poor guy.
He's not available anyways. Anybody else? Everybody else? Anybody? People have some idea what they might choose. All right.
Didn't Wade just have one?
Oh yeah.
I feel like the writers have had everything lately.
No, I'm ready for this. The next week is a special Monday. I'm ready.
I think Wade did not do a double feature yet. Stacy did.
Stacy did.
Yeah. Nope. We are good for Wade. I think we're good.
Top Gun and Top Gun 2. I know what's coming.
Yeah, Maverick and
Top Gun and Hot Shots.
I'm giving it a single shuffle.
Ooh, look at the mixture.
And I'm realizing I forgot to put my own name on the wheel. So I'm going to add my name to the wheel.
Shuffle it again.
Give it another. Already have one.
There we go. Now it's fair.
I'll be very disappointed that I didn't get chosen. All right, here we go. Let's find out who gets to choose the double feature for October. Whoa. Could it be? Uh-oh, look at
Brian.
Brian.
Whoa.
Oh, my.
Aren't you glad you're here, Brian? See?
Despite not watching the movie.
That would be Brian. Brian.
You're muted.
Can't even do it. There we go. I don't know yet. I will get back to you in just a second.
Take your time.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Otherwise.
There's a lot of Police Academy movies. You have to pick which ones are best.
That's
true.
I like the very
Mean Girls
first
Day.
one. The TV show was okay, but I like the very first one.
There's 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
There you go.
So we'll give Brian
Ocean's
some time.
11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13.
Yep.
So many
Right,
Medea
next
movies.
Monday is Mean Girls Day.
Mean Girls Day.
Are you asking me to pick that one?
There you go.
She's just helping you to have more choices.
I watched that movie and never understood what the fuss was about.
I love that movie.
That's because you're not a girl.
Oh, wait,
That is so accurate.
Eric, that's interesting. Why did she just slam you there? That was
That movie's so accurate.
That's so wrong. That's so wrong. All right. Well, are we gonna talk? Let's talk TV and give Brian some time to think about what movies he wants to watch. Shall we?
wow.
Eric, is that a graphic you used at the radio station or the?
It looked like
No.
WGEV.
It did look like WGEV.
That was total WGEV. That was night music, wasn't it?
There was a little night music thing going on there.
That's
Brian, there is always Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
And there's City Slickers 1
the
and 2.
original Ghostbusters.
It is
I like the
Halloween.
original.
Oh, you can think about
Yes.
that. All right. So this week,
Eric's doing a little Inception here.
Brittany, you brought this to us, right?
I did.
You brought us The New Girl.
I did.
Yeah. I had never watched episodes of New Girl before.
Oh.
I know.
Well, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
New Girl. I thought it was that girl. I've been watching the Marlo Thomas show from the 70s.
Yeah.
I was watching Girls.
You were watching Girls? I was watching Mean Girls. What happened?
I was watching American Girl Dolls. It was interesting.
No, I love this show. This show is delightfully pleasant. Super fun.
Isn't it really Three's Company for the new millennium?
In a way.
Yeah.
Except this
In a way, except for, it's not like
And technically, there's like 5 or 6, depending on how you count.
Yeah.
You have
Right.
Coach who leaves, but then he comes back, and
Come and knock on our door.
you have
Where the
CC.
kisses
And
are
There's no
his
Mr.
and
Roper.
his and
No
his
Mr.
and
Roper.
his and hers. 4 or 5 is
it's really
company.
not.
too.
It's not. Three's Company was all about the big misunderstanding every week.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, this. I
Well, there is the episode where the landlord didn't realize there were 4 people living in the apartment.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, I was just watched that one recently.
Now, I'll ask. All right, so I'm like 5 episodes in. I will say I'm not addicted. Like I can't stop watching, but I really do enjoy the show. But I am curious for people who have watched much more than I've watched. Do we eventually stop with the shtick of, oh, she's quirky and not that attractive? Oh, wait, she's really attractive. It's like, I think she's very attractive. Can we just?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
not doing the she's in glasses, so clearly she's not that attractive.
I don't know that ever goes away. I mean, I think no. Yeah, I'm kind of like Cody. Yeah, that's
it's
she is super quirky and super awkward.
Like
the awkwardness actually gets like worse too.
It does. In fact, it gets
so much
grating
worse.
at times. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. Like I just couldn't. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think that's my problem too because I've never watched it. I've had friends that have been like, "Oh, this is such a great show!" Like I go boxing and everybody talks about it every week. Sometimes, like it just depends on what they're watching. But that was one of the ones for a couple weeks, and they're all into it. And I was like, "It's great. I like it. It's for my age group, I think." And so I like having that to connect in that way. But yeah, it's like. I think it's because how short the episodes are versus what I'm used to, like hour-long episodes. So that's kind of throwing me off too. But yeah,
It's typical sitcom length. I mean, Raising Hope is the same.
20 minutes, yeah.
Well, I don't watch I don't know. I haven't watched that one. I watch like Dexter and like stuff.
So you don't watch sitcoms because sitcoms are pretty much all half hour, which means with commercial breaks, 22 minutes.
22 minutes. Yeah.
I don't watch sitcoms.
I mean, you watch Chuck.
Chuck is a sitcom.
But Chuck is an hour.
Oh, Chuck is an hour.
Chuck's 49 to 52
I've never
minutes.
watched Chuck.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't call it a sitcom because it's more like it's like continuous. It's not like situations.
It does have more story arcs than your typical sitcom.
Yeah.
And it
might
on for 7 seasons too.
Yeah.
Like,
Although the last season's a very short season.
it is, yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't like it either, though. I really enjoy it. It's just like I have the same thing where it's
I enjoy it. I think we watched maybe the first half to 3/4 season and just sort of drifted away from it. But to be perfectly blunt, I did the exact same thing with Parks and Rec. I watched the first season of Parks and Rec and went, "This is enjoyable. It's okay," and then just stopped watching. And everybody tells me, "Oh, you stopped watching before it got good," and that can happen. But my problem with it is, I'm not a big fan of will they or won't they sitcoms.
Yeah.
And so much of this is will they or won't they between multiple couples. Will they or won't they? Will they or won't they?
Yeah.
The best episodes were ones where that was not a major part of the plot for me.
Right. Yep. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'd say the best parts of the episodes for me are the dynamics between the roommates. When you have an episode with like Winston and Schmidt doing something, or Coach and Winston.
Well, that was one of the ones I think that I had on the list was where Schmidt is like apologizing to Winston for not understanding his blackness.
That's the one I was thinking of, actually. Yeah, when they go out to buy crack together. Like, that's great. Like, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Winston and Coach doing the whole, like, trying to make a cake together. To, like, surprise her. Like, the biggest part of that birthday episode was, like, I don't know. Like, it should be fine to suspend my disbelief for like sitcoms, but it just annoyed me that like he couldn't think of anything to do with her in the city for a day. It's like, let's go bowling, let's go get lunch. It's like, no, we're gonna walk around the park. You make you find me a boulder. Like, it felt like they were just trying to be like quirky and random. For like, but like the Winston and like Coach stuff was great.
Well, the last episode we watched was the one where Sam got a restraining order against Jess.
Oh yes.
And my problem with it is you're watching it the whole time going, she is dumber than a rock, because everything she does is just the stupidest possible thing you could imagine doing. And for an entire episode, it grates for a bit.
Yes.
That was another episode where I had a bit of a trouble suspending my
There's a couple that are.
That's not what restraining orders are. Like, you can't just.
Yeah, there's a couple
It's
that
like-
are super out there.
I think
for
someone
sure.
even calls it out in the show at some point about like you got a restraining order against her because you didn't feel like you were safe around her, and he was like, "No, but I like her now, so it's fine." I don't think you know what a restraining order is.
Yeah, it's not like declassifying documents. You can't get rid of a restraining order by just
Well,
thinking about it.
You can't think.
He just get a restraining order. Well, and then he originally got it because he didn't want her, but he did, and that was the only reason he got it in the first place. And it was like, that's not how restraining orders work.
The police have a really low bar for the courts have really low bar. It's just
Just be like, it's for my own good. I can't be near her, and they're like, okay, restraining order time.
Well,
But
I have a
first-
question. Is there anybody other? I mean, I can't think of another son of someone or daughter of someone who looks exactly like their father, like Damon Wayans Jr. Like, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, Damon Wayans. Oh no, that's Junior.
There are some. There are
aren't
some.
many
I'd have to
that are
stop and
that
think about them,
close.
but yeah.
I mean, I was like, holy crap. Like, I think there might have been a clone. Like, it might not have actually been his child. He might have cloned himself.
You know, I didn't even.
Interesting fact: Zoe Deschanel and Damon Wayans Jr. went to high school together.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
There was
Well, and that's why I started watching the show is because Zoe Deschanel was in it, and I always thought her a funny actress in the things I've seen, like Elf, for example.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good in Elf.
Mhm.
And then it quickly sort of became that she was actually in some ways the least, even though she was sort of the glue that held the show together, she was the least entertaining part of the show.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Like for me, it's probably like Nick and Schmidt are
Mhm.
like my two, like my top two. But it was really funny because like, so part of the reason why, like I'm with Adam on Schmidt for sure. But like part of the reason why I didn't get to watch the
Hopefully
movie.
not his spelling of Schmidt, though.
Yeah, no, don't agree with that one. But part of the reason why I didn't get to watch the movie this week was because I did the Tough Mudder on Saturday. Like I just had like a super busy week, but that it was 15K, like so 9.6 miles and 30 obstacles that we had. But it just was, I just was like channeling my inner Schmidt, and I'm jumping off stuff and I'm like, parkour. And I'm just cracking myself up because all I could think about is Schmidt just like running up the walls and jumping around, thinking he looks cool and he doesn't. And I knew that I didn't. I
But no,
thought
was that did happen before or after Michael Scott and Dwight did the parkour?
Right,
on the
right,
office?
too,
That's what I wondered.
Jump off the roof. Parkour. Like
yeah.
Or all the true American stuff, actually, also. Very
Yes,
much like
I absolutely
the
love the
roommate
true
dynamic stuff, where just them all being friends and having crazy adventures together. It's really
And I am absolutely heartbroken that there is no legit true American rules on the internet because I want to play. Like, I want to know how to play this game because it just looks like so much fun.
get together and
It's
play.
like the Cones of Dunshire.
I was
from
gonna
Parks
say,
and Rec.
yeah, get together and play the Cones of Dunshire and True American.
Well, and the Christmas Eve episode, to me, the best dynamic in that episode was between Winston and Cece because of the whole beanbag chair thing. And then Winston and Schmidt about the beanbag chair. Yeah, that was the fun part of it, not the bringing in Nick's Megan Fox, who can't act her way out of a paper bag girlfriend from Oregon.
All the Megan Fox episodes are absolute trash.
Yeah.
Like any episode that she's in is not worth watching.
I think pretty much anything she's in is not worth watching. Yeah, she's terrible. She cannot act to save her life.
So you know what's interesting is there were only 2 cast members that were in all 146 episodes.
I thought it was 3.
And Zoe Deschanel is not one of them.
She there's a season where she's on jury duty.
Right. She was pregnant. She has 6
pregnant in the
episodes.
show. Yeah. So when they show her seeing Cece's like wedding dress or whatever and how ugly it is, and she holds up a sign, it's her, like it's Zoe, but she's got a sign that says I can fix it because it's over her belly, like in the window.
Yeah, they did that on Seinfeld a lot with Elaine. They, she was carrying books, or she was wearing very baggy clothes, or standing behind the sofa. But yeah, so Jake Johnson, who plays Nick, and Max Greenfield, who plays Schmidt, were the only 2 that were in 146 episodes.
Yeah, Winston missed 1 for some
Missed
reason.
one.
Yeah.
Cece appeared 145. And yeah.
Wow.
The directors weren't sure. This was like another fun fact that I appreciated. The directors weren't sure with Nick and Jess what way they were going to go. Like, and if you watch like the show, they go back and forth, but they asked Prince to be on the show, and his stipulation for being on the show was that Nick and Jess had to be together. Like that was his like I will cameo in this episode for you if Nick and Jess are together.
I love that. That's great.
So that is like that totally changed the course of the show because
Yeah.
the directors were like, you know, not really sure, and that kind of sealed the deal.
I forgot to hold this up earlier. I do have the promotional only red, white, and Blaine.
No,
that was only sent out to reviewers and radio stations.
Wow. Which are
You
you?
can find a copy yourself on Amazon for only $200. I didn't pay nearly that much for it.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were a reviewer of a radio station. They didn't send it to WGEV, Eric?
I did not get that at WGEV.
Were you there in '96?
No.
Yeah.
No,
No?
I was gone.
Oh.
No.
I thought you were still that creepy old guy that was hanging around Geneva.
That's me now.
Oh, that's you now. Oh, sorry.
No, he was hanging out at Blackhawk at that point.
That's right. Exactly. No, I'm not going to
Sorry,
say
Adam.
Okay, I haven't. Sorry.
You'll have to let me know if you keep watching it, Eric, because there's some really good ones if you keep going.
Well, I mean, this
it's one of those shows that I could see, like, you know, if you're going to sit down and actually like do something, it would just be nice to have on, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's not like, wait, did I miss something super important? It's like, no, it's okay. It's like,
Yeah.
It was interesting because I was looking at your list, Brittany, but I was also consulting IMDb to see what were the highest rated episodes in certain seasons. And so I picked to watch one, I think it was a season 1 episode, season 1 or season 2, that was like the highest rated episode that season. And I'm watching going, this is not that great an episode. Why is this? This is not. And then at the very end, it was finally Nick and Jess have this passionate moment. It's like, oh, because the fans loved it for that.
Yeah.
It really isn't that great an episode other than the fan service at the end.
Yeah. No, I tried to pick like.
well, now that you've
ones
spoiled
that
it.
were-
No,
Right.
I mean, the show kind of reminds me of Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place a little bit. The show reminds me a little bit of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia a little bit. You know, we got a bunch of guys and
they're
one
all
girl.
on TV.
It's like, you know.
It's a lot like
Eric
the
and I mentioned
Twilight
earlier.
Zone. It's,
It's a little like Twilight Zone. It's
I
also-
didn't see the Twilight Zone.
It's a lot like TJ Hooker.
Oh,
my
bringing
God.
William Shatner back into it, huh?
Yep.
At the Brighton Hot Dog Shop.
No.
I think.
All right, let's go to Brian and see if Brian has had enough time to make his choice.
I did. It was very hard because I had like 3 different ones that I was not 3 different movies, 3 different like ones that I wanted to do, but I kind of mixed and matched. I'm gonna do Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone,
Oh.
and then the Never-Ending Story.
Wow.
The Never-Ending Story has not aged well, but I still want to watch it.
And somehow it had a sequel.
It,
Well,
it
interestingly,
made well when
too,
it was 2 years old.
If the story
Yeah.
never ended,
They just in this last few
Can't do a
days they
sequel.
published some excerpts of the forthcoming publication of Alan Rickman's diaries, and in it he comments about the Harry Potter films and his love for some of them and utter disdain for others because he and some of the directors did not see eye to eye, and he tried to quit the franchise multiple times.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm excited. I was gonna pick 2 Harry Potter movies, but then I decided not to. So
The only time I ever watched Neverending Story was at Joe Gallagher's house at a sleepover, and it was horrible at 3 a.m. Let me just.
So don't watch it at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's my
Different
plan.
time.
Oh my gosh, I just felt like I never knew it was happening, and surreal.
I remember watching it with Brittany, and
Yeah, I
she got
had
like
never
really
seen it.
mad at me and Richard at this one part.
That
Yeah,
happens pretty regularly with you.
yeah. But I love it. It
It's
was
a
one
good
of those
one.
ones that I watched when I was a kid. It's
Currently
just-
streaming on Harry Potter is currently streaming on Fubo, Peacock, and DirecTV. Kind of available for rent and all your.
Neverending Story is on Hoopla, or if you pay a few bucks on Amazon.
There you go.
I
Lots of
must
choices.
have like not got the right information because I thought it said it was on HBO. or one of them.
Well, it might be. I was just looking at the
Harry
free
Potter
stuff primarily.
probably is. I
Yeah.
think
When
all
I
the Harry
googled it,
Potter
Never
ones
Ending
are.
Story seemed to think it was on HBO.
HBO Max, yeah. The HBO Max has the Never Ending Story.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I just assume people don't have HBO Max though.
Oh, I do.
Now,
Yeah,
now,
it's not
is
stuff,
anybody here, like now, Dan? I believe Dan and I have talked about. Dan, you've never seen a Harry Potter movie. Am I right about this?
I never have.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So now
Have
I
you
have
read
to
any of
start.
the books?
No. So I have to start from the beginning now, don't I?
Well, this is the beginning.
That's the beginning.
Is this the first one?
Yeah.
This is number
Yeah,
one.
the books are better,
Okay.
but
This is number
I like
one.
it.
I was worried this was like number 3 or something. Okay, if this is
No.
number 1, I'm cool.
Number 3 is my favorite.
Number
And it's
3
like
is my favorite.
time
terms of the movies
travel
or the
and
books?
all of
Number
that.
3.
So
Well, Adam
Wait,
said you
which-
picked the weakest
which
one,
one
but
is
the
number
first
I
one.
Well,
picked the
it's the very
first one because I
You have to
didn't
start
want.
at the first one. You
Yeah,
have to
you
start
can't
at
that was
just
the
pick
only
one.
But,
reason.
I mean, the kids are like 9 years old. They
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
brand new
Which one is
actors.
3?
3 was
Prisoner
Prisoner of
of
Azkaban.
Yeah,
It was
Oh,
my-
Azkaban.
that is my favorite one as well.
Yes.
It was my
Mine
favorite.
too.
And that was Alan Rickman's favorite too.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, that was my favorite book, but then that was the one where the third. I was
The
very
director
excited
went
about Harry
really,
Potter in
really
high school,
like.
and the third movie was the one where they switched directors for the first time, and the director changed
Where?
the clothing direction a lot. So in the
Wardrobe,
first
yeah,
movies,
yeah,
all of the wizards would wear like robes all the time, and in the third one,
Yeah.
they were wearing jeans and hoodies. And I remember being very angry about this as a decision in high school because I was like, wizards don't wear that; they're confused by Muggle technology.
I
very
I-
angry about
yeah.
this directing choice. So
yeah. I felt the same way, but then when it came out and I watched it, I was like, it does add a little bit to their characters that you wouldn't get otherwise.
I should
So
give it another chance.
Well, I also
it just really buffered. I don't know.
I also
anything
love
that
Gary
just
Oldman.
was said,
So when he
sorry.
got introduced to this series, it got better for me. I think he's one of my all-time favorite actors. So
Well, this is very exciting. I am very.
I'm
pleased with
excited.
this. I think you have chosen well.
Thank you.
you've chosen well, young grasshopper.
I'm sorry that I didn't choose Mean Girls.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's still good. I didn't read the book, so I technically don't even count. But I do really, really love these
Oh.
movies.
You can read the book still. Like it's a thing.
Someday.
Oh no, it's over.
Maybe.
You can't.
I read all the books before I watched the movie.
I just don't know how to
Yes.
read. That's my problem.
Oh, you could do like my niece and listen to them on the whatever it's called, Audible. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're driving on the road.
Yeah, so you get all of the long length of books and none of the visuals of the movie. See, it's like the audiobooks are the worst of both worlds there. It's really
That's how Wade read them. He listened to them when he worked for Sheets and was
Yeah.
on the road all day. He listened to all the books.
that is the one advantage of audiobooks. If you're on the road a lot, they're great.
And he was.
Yeah, or taking a run or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Exercise? Man.
That's a really long run.
Yeah.
Or if you have like dyslexia and can't read as well physically.
That's
like, you know.
that's why my niece. Yep. That's why she listens to Audible, follows along, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I have a question about the movie we talked about earlier. Actually, something I forgot to ask. Why was it rated R?
I assume for the F bombs, but
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe I just didn't even notice.
the Raging Bull audition.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
probably it.
All right, because I'm like
Yeah, usually-
rated R.
Usually, if
And
you
that
have
actually was
multiple-
one of the locals. That was one of the few people in there he actually was a local. He'd had one minor role in some prior movie or something, and he came in and that was his audition.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Filthy, just filthy. I was appalled.
Yes, but I loved Corky's eyes when he's.
Oh man.
We all went silent.
Whoa, there's a lull right there. Boom, right at
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
We're all just contemplating a week of Harry Potter and the Never-Ending Story.
That's right.
What order do we watch them in? That's
It's-
always the
I'm-
quandary of
I'm-
the double features. What order do you watch them in?
I would go with Never-Ending Story first.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah.
And that song will be stuck in our head now. That's the problem too.
Oh,
The never-ending song.
When they sang it in Stranger Things, I was like,
that
oh.
while I was jogging through like the 15K, and I was like, this is stupid. Don't sing and jog. I already can't breathe.
Unless it's a really fast song.
Whenever we were in theater, they had a little trampoline for us to jump on if we had like a particular dance whenever that we had to do during one of our solos or something like that. We had a trampoline to do that because it was hard to like dance and sing at the same time. So I don't know. I just thought about that.
Never-ending star.
Why?
Take
This
my
is what
breath
I'm afraid
away.
of. That's what I'm afraid of. Oh.
All right. Wow, that's a lull.
So I watched the 1936 Flash Gordon with my dad.
Oh.
That was
Man.
really fun.
Cereal.
One
of the cereals.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Yeah, but we watched it as the movie, and yeah,
Buster Crab.
Yep. Yeah, and like we both were like, this is really fast paced, but like it was great. We had a lot of fun.
Oh,
The thing that amazed me about those serials is they would end with a cliffhanger, like somebody holding on to the edge of a cliff, and they let go and start to fall just as they end. And you come back next week, and they're still holding on to the ledge, and they climb up. They were perfectly happy to throw away part of the cliffhanger to move the story along.
Wow. Whatever it takes.
Yep.
By the way, are we talking about what else we're watching?
I mean,
I guess, would we like to? Are we done with New Girl?
We haven't officially started that.
Oh, I didn't know if we were going to, so I just kind of
we have
sneaked that
to.
one in.
I think we
All right.
Well,
now we can talk.
All right. I watched the first episode of the Goldbergs after they killed off the dad.
Oh.
Spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. It's all over the place. And
Well, it's better than what they did last season when they would show these random little clips they still had in the can of him just lying back in his chair saying nothing.
Yeah.
Ooh, like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that
But
one.
then-
That's a
but
good
then-
way to keep it running, man.
and Jeff Garland timed it perfectly. He came out and announced he's been suffering with bipolar syndrome.
Really?
It's like, oh, well.
It's even worse. He's tripolar.
He's manic, and manic.
Manics?
That sounds like a really bad law firm.
Yeah.
Manic, and manic.
Yep.
So yeah, and the episode was still good because it's still a well done show.
It is. It's nowhere near what it was in the first like 4 or 5 seasons, though. It has.
Well, Adam Goldberg's not involved anymore.
Exactly. When Goldberg left as the showrunner, and then George Segal died, and it's still enjoyable. I still like watching it, but it's not like oh yes, there's a new Goldbergs.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he left. That I didn't know that he had left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was his choice.
It's his life. That's so weird.
Not anymore. The problem, I think they ran out of what was left
Okay.
of his life.
And that was another thing I missed is I used to love the little videotape clips at the end, and he sort of ran out of those. And also, he used to bring back real people from his old high school and have them in little roles, and they don't do that anymore.
And that's the stuff that always reminded me of Eric and Dan with their videotaping everything when we were in school.
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh, please.
None of those tapes will see the day of light.
No.
I'm hiring lawyers.
No.
Clear and present era danger.
Never going to be enough lawyers.
Get a restraining order.
300 feet. 300 feet.
Although Eric will just declassify it by thinking about it. Well, let's see what else. Oh, more Law and Order.
Anything. I've been playing Fortnite, the new season of Fortnite.
Oh.
There's a new season of a game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, season 22.
Or like competitive games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's just an excuse for them to make you re-up and give them more money. So, yeah.
It really
Change up
is.
the game a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Squeeze $10 out of you.
Well, we're waiting. I still haven't bought it because I'm still debating whether I want the Switch or the PC version. The new Monkey Island game is out, and the Monkey Island games were among the all-time greatest games I have ever played. So,
Yeah,
Well, if
very
you get it,
excited about
make
that
sure you
one.
don't. I would get it on the Switch because if you get a computer virus, you might end up with monkeypox. Is that a long way to go?
Yeah.
Put that in your next on stage act, Dan. That's a good one.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Right into this episode 2 of the sitcom.
No, it's already written.
It's already
Maybe episode
part of it.
11 or 12.
You can't get away from it.
I know. All right. Well, we're lots of lulls.
Nobody's watched anything else, I'm sure.
I watched the very first Conan O'Brien. That was fun.
Oh.
I watched it when it was on TV, and I didn't really remember a whole lot. And he ended by singing Edelweiss
Yeah.
with Tony Randall.
Oh my god.
Did you see the late which mag was it? Rolling Stone? Some magazine just put out their latest updated list of the top 100 TV shows of all time.
Oh.
Yeah, and you made me think of that because The Odd Couple was fairly high up on the list.
That's controversial.
Good.
Let's see
Number
what
one
Rolling
was
Stone-
The Sopranos. Spoiler alert.
12
In
hours.
there.
Here it is. You wrote it
Sopranos.
already. Number 100. What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do with Bananas.
Number 99. Oz. Number 98. The Good Fight. Number 97. The Odd Couple.
This could take a while.
I know. Rick and Morty 96.
At least we have bananas to watch while we're listening.
Squid Game 95.
Is that an
News
old hard
Radio.
hat you're wearing there, Dan?
Yeah. News Radio 94.
Squid Game. See, I don't agree with this, but anyway.
The Rockford Files 93. The Muppet Show 92. I don't have
Wow.
to say the numbers. The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. The Wonder Years. The Carol Burnett Show. The Crown. Kids in the Hall. The Bob Newhart Show. Orange is the New Black. Fargo. I Am Alan Partridge. Party Down. Really? Anybody ever hear of Party Down?
No.
Party Down?
On Stars from 09 to 10.
Oh
A 1 year show.
Somebody's getting paid off here.
Well, it is getting continued in 2023.
And it is Adam Scott. So
yeah.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
They
Band
do
of
mention
Brothers.
at some point in there that the CBS Saturday night lineup of All in the Family, Carol Burnett, Bob Newhart Show, Mary Tyler Moore Show, and MASH.
All are on this list.
Those 5 shows are all in their top 100. And that was just like the most killer lineup of all time.
Yes.
You don't think that Cheers, Seinfeld, Mad About You, The Cosby Show, and LA Law would be on this list?
Oh, they should be.
A bunch of them are. LA
Sex
Law
in the
is.
City, The Jeffersons, Justified, Frasier. I feel like I'm reading like the people that are showing up on the Emmys. The Honeymooners. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Good Times.
Well done, Eric.
Better Things. Wait, I'm not saying. What did Eric do? Oh, come on, Eric. Is this me reading the list? All right, hold on. Let me see if I
Just
can
keep
find
reading. You're like lip syncing along with yourself.
Better Things. What shirt is that? SCTV. Chappelle Show. Faulty Towers. NYPD Blue. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Girls. Jon Stewart Girls. The Golden Girls. So wait, Girls and the Golden Girls are back to back. South Park. The Dick Van Dyke Show. The Underground Railroad. Taxi. Key and Peele. 6 Feet Under. Russian Doll. Hold on, I gotta pull this back. What is Eric playing now?
It's the same thing.
Oh.
You know, the funny thing about this list is like you're reading off our movie list. Like none of it seems to make sense.
Make any sense?
I know.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
Halt and
Yeah.
Catch Fire. ER. The Office, UK. Barry.
It's my fault. Sorry, guys.
The X Files. All right, we'll stop there. That's the top 50. Bottom 50. I can do 50
I'm
more.
like at 22, and it's Star Trek, so there's that.
I mean,
Jeopardy.
The only show when I was reading
Friends.
through the list, the only show that I said has to be here. I'm not going to worry about the order and what's ahead of what, but the only show I could think of that going in, I said this has to be in the top 100, and they said it didn't make the cut was Newhart. To me, Newhart should have been there.
Makes no sense.
Well, the Bob Newhart Show made it, though.
The Bob Newhart show did make it.
Which was
Curb
better
Your
than
Enthusiasm, Hill Street Blues, Arrested Development, I Love Lucy, Me with an Ugly Hat.
You know, that reminds me
Lost.
of Corky's tank top sweater.
The Office.
I don't agree with their like top.
Both Offices made this. That's kind of impressive. Monty Python's Flying Circus, Better Call Saul, Game of Thrones, Parks and Rec, Roots, Friday Night Lights, Deadwood, Livewood, Sesame Street, MASH, Smash, Bash, Freaks and Geeks, Watchmen, Star Trek, All in the Family, 30 Rock, I May Destroy You, Saturday Night Live, The Leftovers, Twin Peaks, The Larry Sanders Show, The Americans, Veep,
What was that?
The Twilight
glowing
Zone,
thing?
Keeps going back.
Succession, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. They're in the top 10 now. Okay, the top. This is what they think the top 10 is: The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Atlanta, Cheers,
which is the current show,
Mad Men, Seinfeld, Fleabag, The Wire, Breaking Bad, The Simpsons, and The Sopranos. Wow.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
American, but these are only English shows, either American or British.
Yeah. You know, that picture you put up, Eric, the video you put up, it reminds me, Eugene Levy on SCTV used to do an impression of Perry Como. Where
that was what I was doing.
He was so laid back, he would just be lying down on his back on stage singing.
Look at the light in my face.
Well, it's better than where it was.
Yeah, in your face.
WGTV. Look at all these effects. You have to have lattice work at a cable TV station, and you have to have the old desk from I believe that was ABC.
I believe you are correct.
WTAE. It was there. It was
It's
there.
like you were transported there. It's like watching a Star Trek episode.
Did you see that? I just switched places. Oh, and I'm back.
It's like time travel again.
And I can tell you what year this is by that shirt.
You
That was,
need to regrow that mustache, Dan.
I can't. Certain extradition laws.
His mustache has been declassified. I'm
You have
sorry.
to take 300 feet away from his mustache.
That shirt is from Nags Head, North Carolina. That's the summer of '91.
I believe you are correct.
Wow.
That was my Avonworth basketball coaching year. Wow. I was coaching young.
I have 3
young
hours
men.
of this. This tape is 3 hours of just Dan laying there.
No way.
What's with all? Have I picked my nose yet?
It's coming. That's at the 3 hour mark.
Like, what am I saying?
You want to hear? I'm afraid to hear what you have to say.
My fault. Because I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
Oh no, he's doing Stuart Smalley.
Doggone it. People like me. God,
What was it? Like,
can I sing a song?
what was the
Can you
point of
do
this?
that?
Were you testing?
I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my god, my
Yeah,
con.
Oh, he's getting up.
He asked if he could sing a song.
Weak
Oh, I'm
in
singing Debbie Gibson. Great.
a glance. Isn't this what's
I'm Team Tiffany
going
now. I can't be seen singing Debbie Gibson.
everywhere
This might be the tape. This might be the tape that makes me a millionaire.
I go?
Well, this might be what makes that EriDan early years tape, like you show in the. What are we watching? What are you watching now?
I can't let
You know,
go.
we did
don't
decide.
know it.
We did decide there will be an episode of It's a Lot where Eric and Dan get a radio show, and they come up with the name EriDan for the radio show.
Well, that makes total
And then
sense.
you're like, you come up with it. I'm like, Eric, don't you remember high school?
Is Eric being played by John Hamm? Is that what I heard?
No, Eric's being played by Chris Soldavilla.
Dan, if you ever write my mom into your show, can I play her?
Maybe. Oh, I'm seeing Wilson Phillips. Oh, geez, Eric. Eric was like, "You won't believe the technology we have here. I can."
Go on now.
I can't believe you're allowed to play Wilson Phillips at Geneva College. Oh, that's
I like how
there's
they
a
always used to put Carney in the background. It was kind of sad.
There's our
Oh,
copyright
come
claim
on.
for this week.
Gonna get us shut off. Yeah. Totally worth it.
Don't go chasing
You
EriDan.
a lol. You want a lol.
Yeah. I wish I could play something to embarrass Eric, but that's impossible.
It really is.
A, because I don't have anything, and B, if I did, it wouldn't embarrass him.
No,
And C, even if you could, he'd have so much ammunition to get revenge, you'd regret it.
Right. It's like I have one snowball. He has
Don't
like
poke the bear.
oh, come on.
Don't poke the bear.
Oh my
Is
god.
that from Breaking Bad?
This is Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Orlando. This is around that time though.
You were coming back from Orlando. You were visiting.
I can't think of Orlando without thinking of the Book of Mormon. Orlando.
Well, on that note, we probably should wrap up since everybody does have 18 hours worth of movies to watch. I understand one of them contains a never-ending story.
Well, luckily, because it's the first Harry Potter movie, it's not crazy long.
Right.
It's fabulous.
Okay.
Now I gotta watch Harry
I'm
Potter.
excited. I'm personally never-ending story. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever watched.
Really?
So
Okay.
I have not.
Excited about that or not, it's fine. But the fact that we're at least starting the Harry Potter franchise, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
Okay.
The never, like I said, it probably hasn't aged well for a lot of people, but I watched it when I was a kid, and I loved it back then. So
We already saw how movies that people loved as a kid and haven't seen for a while tend to do on here. We had the Goonies.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And whether and for first timers, it'll be interesting
yeah,
to say.
it might be low for first timers. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's still going to be
for
fun.
nostalgia's sake.
It's still going to be
fun.
Hey, I still thought Somewhere in Time is a great movie. So
It's true.
that's from my childhood.
So
Yeah,
we
but
have
most people
some
watching-
comments from Adam. We've been ignoring Adam's comments.
I've been watching.
Mother's comments. I feel terrible about all of this.
I may or may not have watched a non-streaming platform the new Rob Zombie Monsters movie. It's so bad. Don't waste your time. Now I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Also watch Hocus Pocus for the first time ever last night. As a kids movie, it's cute, but as an adult, not that
I've
good.
never been that big a fan.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand the hype either.
And I'm
It
not
was
sure.
one I liked.
Things.
It's one I loved as a kid, but I haven't watched it recently, so it may not hold up. I'm not
I
gonna
don't
claim
dislike it. To me, I've never understood the people that are just, it's their all-time favorite.
Yeah.
One of their
Yeah.
all-time favorite movies.
I agree.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I remember loving it as a kid, but no idea how well it holds up.
I
My
was
mom took
terrified
all my nieces.
of those witches when I was a kid.
Ryan's
I
like,
thought
no.
they were gonna. Yeah, I thought they were gonna steal my youth. And
How old were you?
I don't know. I was just terrified.
Okay.
My mom took my nieces to see Harry Potter in the theaters
Aw.
back in the day, back in PA.
Mm-hmm.
In the day in PA.
In the
Brittany
day in
would
PA.
appreciate this. I used to get Amanda and Jen pick them up right after school so we could go watch when the new Lord of the Rings movie came out. So we get right to the theater.
Aw.
That's
Nah.
fun.
That's awesome. Well, there we go. Well, I think that gets us through another Monday night.
Yeah.
So Monday, 9 p.m. Dan,
6
will there be
p.m.
Park radio on Saturday? I know you guys have been on a little bit.
There
of a
has to be
hiatus.
this Saturday. Okay, so here's what happened. So 2 Saturdays ago, we were shooting the sitcom, so we couldn't do it, and Rafi was flying up here. Last Saturday, Rafi had somewhere to be, so he couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to come in Friday night. I'm going to record an entire show by myself, but I'm going to bring in clips from prior shows and do like a half-hour show that's just a clip show. And half hour is good because there's only one of us. You get 2 of us, you get an hour. And so I played it, I recorded it, I'm all ready, I uploaded it. I'm about to schedule. I'm like, I better watch this to make sure. So I start going through it. No audio at all on any of the clips.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So I'm like, all right, just play the Pontiac episode again.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
I know.
I like just talking about a clip show. It reminded me of, of the Albertsons. Yeah, we'll strike it. We've been in some of Corky's shows. We know the
I
we know
love
the
that.
vernacular.
Nice.
He's moving this. We're going to strike it. I mean,
Yeah,
there's so a lot of
infinitely
friends
quotable.
out there.
All right.
Well, thank you all for joining. We're so glad to see you all for filling up our Brady Bunch squares. And we will see you back here on Monday night. Thank you.
Try to
Goodbye.
get you my score really soon.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.